All right, it is Monday, July 7th, or as people like to call it, 7-7 day. I'm Ruben Diaz. I'm the captain here for this little bit. Our guy Avery Braxton off on a well-earned extended vacation. But before he dipped out of town, he sat down with the newest Memphis Grizzly. Talking about Cedric Coward, the rookie out of Washington State, already generating some serious buzz here in the Bluff City. And up here on the 24th floor, you'll get a chance to know him a little bit better just in time for when the Grizzlies return to FedEx Forum. So get comfy, grab some popcorn, your favorite drink. It's a long, lengthy conversation, but it's totally worth your time. 24th floor starts right now. Go ahead and roll that music.
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
First question, has it sunk in yet? It's been a week and a day since you heard your name called. You had to walk across the stage. Has it sunk in yet that you're an NBA basketball player?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's sunk into the fact of like now that I'm in the in the environment every single day and seeing the people that work in this environment and work along with me now is like it's crazy, but at the same time it's sunk in. But I'm just grateful every day to be able to walk in here. I mean, they finally got my face on the little identification so where I can just walk in the door.
Right, you can just beep yourself in?
Yeah, so I can just beep myself in. I'm officially official, and, you know, it's great. But at the end of the day, it's just basketball. And to be able to do it at the highest level, and especially in the great city of Memphis, is you know, a blessing as well.
You're still learning the building. You sat down, you're like, is this the entrance?
Yeah.
Like, you hadn't been up in here yet. Like, what's it been like to kind of explore, and not just, you know, FedEx Forum, but the city of Memphis itself?
It's been cool. I mean, Memphis reminds me a lot of, like, Fresno, where I'm from. It's not super busy, not a lot going on, but there is a lot to see. I mean, there's so much history and so much culture. Like, my mom just told me, like, they have the hotel, like, where Dr. King got shot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, snap. Like, you know, it's something like me being from California and living on West Coast my whole life. It's, like, different to hear that. Like, you're in the city where that happened. You know, obviously, unfortunate event. But there's a lot more other stuff here. Like, they got a whole bunch of stuff. I know outside they have, like, a giant guitar with, like, Elvis and all them dudes on it. And, like, people to take pictures in front of. You know, you're walking down Beale Street. I'm just learning the lay of the land pretty much. And then when it comes to, like, being here in the actual facility, as long as I know how to get to the court, to my locker, and to the treatment room, and the weight room, those 4 places, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I would say you're probably not going to spend too much time in the grand lobby, but, you know, they do the FanDuel show right over there in the NBA store, so you know, maybe you take a trip over there after a couple wins, right?
Yeah, possibly.
NBA workouts, you've already had a few under your belt. Has anything surprised you yet? And if nothing surprised you, what's been the biggest difference?
I think there's just a speed of the game that's different. But honestly, I think you do a really good job preparing yourself for that. And I've done a good job, you know, surrounding myself with the right people, coaches and people in my agency and, you know, people that have helped me prepare for that. And really shout out to my coaches, too, at Washington State. A lot of their concepts are kind of similar to what we have here. Obviously, it's different, but at the same time, like, the terminology may be different, but the goal for it is the exact same. Right. And one thing I love about our coach, like, we have situations and sets and stuff like that to run, but at the end of the day, it's like, go play basketball. Think the game, you know, use your advantages, use your strengths, and use their weaknesses against them.
Yeah. We don't really have to get into your story. I think anybody who is a Grizzlies fan and has been interested knows your journey to this point.
Yeah.
I guess what I would want to ask you is just what made you believe that you could be an NBA basketball player and really not just making it to the league, but I mean, you were a lottery pick. But what made you believe that all this was possible for you?
I think just understanding that it's not everybody's built for it. I think the way I grew up, I was taught to never give up. And, like, that's very vague to say because a lot of people are taught that. But, like, it was expressed to me. Like, no matter what, I don't care if you suck at it. You're just never going to give up. And for me, I take that to heart. I take, like, making sure I accomplish what I want to accomplish to heart. Like, if I'm going to strive for something, I'm going to go get it. Like, I think for me, the road I went on was very unusual. You know, it's from my understanding, it's the only road, you know, have been on ever.
We thought Jalen Wells was unusual.
Yeah, but at the same time,
topped him.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's people like Jalen, like others before him and before me that have went through that as well, and you kind of like learn from them and see how they did it.
Sure.
And the main common theme is just the mindset. Like, I guarantee you, if you asked Jalen this first year at Sonoma, like, did you believe he was going to be in the NBA, you know, and be a starter? Like, I think he would say yes, and, you know, I wouldn't be surprised because I would have said the same thing with Lemmet, but, like, it wouldn't have been as bold as, like, his last year at Washington State, my last year at Washington State. So, I mean, really just having the mindset and the belief in myself, really, and then having people around you to believe in you just as much as you believe in yourself is really important, too.
Who were those people that inspired you, believed in you, made you believe as much as you believed yourself?
Yeah, honestly, my family, like my mom, my dad, my grandparents, sister, my girlfriend, like everybody, like from the people who were trying to come to the Willamette games, you know, trying to come to the Willamette games, to then I'm flying them out to come to the Washington State games and enjoy senior night with me. I mean, there's so many people that I can't name them all that have supported me along this journey, and honestly have kind of weathered the storm with me, whether it's been a good game, bad game, whether I've had, you know, good people say good things about me, bad things about me. It really don't matter. But at the end of the day, the only thing that mattered to me was the belief I had in myself, and then the people around me, if they kept believing. Because, you know, as soon as they stopped believing, now it's like, okay, you can go in and get out the picture, because like you're not trying to accomplish the same goal I am.
Gotta keep that circle small,
Exactly.
right? People who believe in you. Speaking of that, as I was kind of looking around, gathering research, trying to make sure I knew what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I came across a story from ABC 30 in Fresno, and what the journalist did, he interviewed your old high school coach, and actually your high school team, or Central High School, the basketball team that's there now, watched you get drafted.
Yeah.
What do you think that says to those kids, that somebody from their high school, from their area, can be an NBA basketball player?
Shoot, you can do it too, man. I mean, it's like, it doesn't matter where you come from or who your parents are, or, you know, whatever it may be, whatever circumstances, whatever cards you're dealt when you're born, those are the cards you're dealt with. But at the end of the day, you just got to make sure you're doing what's possible to make it the best outcome. I mean, not everybody is going to make it to the NBA. That's just the truth. You got to live a reality. I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding your reality. Like, if I didn't have a chance, like I wouldn't have kept pursuing it. But I believed in myself. I had a chance, and I knew what I was capable of, and so, you know, it turned into my reality. That's the same thing for those kids. If they believe and they look at themselves and be like, okay, I am doing enough and I really have a chance, go pursue it. And at the end of the day, too, there's no shame in, like, not making the NBA either. Like, there's no shame in not going D1 at high school. Like, I didn't.
Yeah.
If you go D3, you still have a path to get to where you want to get to. So it's really, don't ever get complacent, and don't ever think just because, like, you got to take an extra step that the journey is over.
Yeah, I think when I was watching that story, the anchor, like, introduction to it was like, you have a higher chance of being struck by lightning than making it to the NBA. And I would say your percentages probably go down a little bit when you start at D3. But you got up to the D1 level, and you had that 1 year at Wazoo, obviously got cut short. Reportedly, they were talking about $2 million at Duke. How hard was it to turn down an opportunity to play at Duke and be a Blue Devil?
I think it had nothing to do with the money. The money was obviously good, and, you know, and I'm gonna let you guys speculate whatever
On how much it was.
Yeah,
You ain't
but
gotta- you
it
ain't
don't
answer that.
matter. I didn't pick Duke for the money. I picked Duke really because of the plan they had, and you know, I had a really good relationship with Coach Shire and Coach Doty and all the other coaches that was there. But at the end of the day, it was tough from an instance of, like, I didn't finish college how I wanted to finish college. Like, when you play 6 games, then get hurt, and you're like, and you can't play the rest of the year, you're like, well, dang, I didn't really get the college experience, especially going from Eastern Washington to Wazoo, which is another level. Like, I didn't get to play against Gonzaga at Gonzaga. I didn't get to play against Santa Clara, San Francisco, St. Mary's. I didn't. Like, I'm in the WCC, but I didn't play a WCC game, which is funny. But when it comes to, like, making that decision, it was more emotional in terms of, like, could I live with myself without finishing college, you know, the way I wanted to? But obviously, look where I'm at now. I think I made the right decision, you know. And then I also looked at it too as, like, it is an extra step to kind of go to Duke and then get here. Because at the end of the day, the goal was always just get here. And if I could have did it now, which I did, why take the extra step?
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say you made the right decision. You were allowed to be picked, right? I think it all works out in the end. As you're going through your draft process, there's a guy, David Thorpe. Does that name ring a bell for you?
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, for those who are unfamiliar with who David Thorpe is, he was somebody who evaluated you, scouted you out. You saw him the first time you entered the draft, right? And then he said some things to you. You had an old man game, not really a lot of bounce. You saw him again. Do you remember what you said to him the second time you saw him?
Okay, well, when he saw me at my pro day the first time, and Coach Thorpe basically told me, he was like, look, you have talent, but then you have no pop, like there's no explosiveness, and then that's not going to translate to the game. Like, and so I said, okay, cool. Like, obviously you don't want to hear that, but what I love about Coach Thorpe and the people I had around me is they're real. Like, they're not going to sugarcoat nothing. Like, he told me, like, you don't have enough pop. I was like, okay, cool. So then I went back to Wazoo. That was a focus, along with many other things I heard. And then I also worked with him throughout the year. So it wasn't like I just saw him that day in May, and then I saw him again in May. Like, I worked with him throughout the year on what to work on. He's watching my film. He's watching my games, 6 games I played, understanding, like, said you need to do this, said you needed that, you did this well, whatever it was. He's giving his feedback because he's a genius, to be honest with you. And then the next time I seen him, and he actually saw me in person after the injury and all this stuff happened, I had a lot more pop. Like, it was complete 180 from the year before, I can say. And I remember he came up to me, he was like, why are you jumping so high? Why do you think you're jumping so high? I was like, because I'm focused on it. And I remember what you told me last year. Like, I pretty much, like you said, had an old man game. But yeah, it's just, I think going to the next year, going to this past summer, going into that draft process, it was to take all the tidbits and criticism I had in my game and improve upon those. And obviously improve upon the stuff I was good at, per se. But I think when it comes to Coach Thorpe, when you have a genius talking to you, you listen. You know what I mean? You don't try to fight back or combat him. Like, you might not like what he has to say, which I didn't at the time. But then, like I said, it goes back to that living reality. I looked at it and was like, damn, he's right. Like, you know what I mean? So let me just improve upon this and then come back next year, and now he can't say that. And I got some ways to go, but at the same time, like, that's what everybody got a ways to go. But Coach Thorpe has been huge in my life, and especially my basketball career, and I'm glad he said that to me.
He also said, as he's talking to other people, not talking to you, but whoever was going to draft you had to trust their gut as a general manager because you only played 6 games at Wazoo.
Yeah.
What do you think it says about the Grizzlies and Zach Kleiman's trust in what you can do and what you could be for the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think one thing I told my agent was I wanted a team that believed in me as much as I believed in myself. No matter the 6 games, no matter the competition, whatever it was. Like, there's all those questions come up, and like when it comes to like competition and stuff like that, like you can look at many people. Like Damian Lillard played in the Big Sky Conference, and he was a top 10 pick. You know what I mean? And then also, I wouldn't be here if I couldn't play at this level. But I think what that says about Zach and all the front office guys was like, they see what I see, and they see what the people around me every day see. It's somebody that can thrive and can excel at this level and be a huge impact and just impact the culture of the team in a way that we win more games. I think for me, it also shows like you give your all for people like that, man. Like, if somebody doesn't believe in you, then it's hard to give your all for them. Like, but they believe in me. I mean, they believe in me, and they took, I guess, a gamble is what you can say on me. But I don't see it as a gamble. I see it as a smart decision, and I just got to go prove them right.
Any gamble, you can also call it an investment.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We'll think of it as an investment. We throw a lot of numbers around when you're talking about basketball players. A lot that I've seen has been the number 72. As in 72% is what you shot from 2-point range in your college career. How in the world does somebody who's handling the ball that much shoot 72% inside the arc?
Well, I can say my coaches at Washington State or Eastern Washington at the time were helping me with that decide good shots, bad shots. I think one thing we did, we took advantage of a lot of things in the post instead of on the perimeter. So we had most of our shots down low.
Sure.
I think for me, it was expanding my game to where instead of catching in the post and just trying to be a bully and like go against 6'9", 6'8", 6'10" guys and try to lay it up, like really expand your game to the mid-range area, expand your game to that, what Coach Thorpe calls the second box area. And for me, you know, if you look analytically, there's all these analytics and mathematics and stuff like in the game. The closer you are to the basket, the higher percent chance you have to make a shot. And I think it just like shows to the work you put in. I mean, I work on those shots all the time. Like, and two, you believe in yourself to make those shots. Like, it's not like you're shooting it like, please go in. Like, you're shooting it like you would every single day, you know, practice, shoot around, whatever it may be. And the only difference is you just got somebody there in front of you. I mean, but that's why you work out with sticks and guys contesting your shots. So when it gets in the game, it's easy. It's just like clockwork. But I didn't really notice the 72%. I just try to make as many shots as possible when I shoot them. And honestly, I just try to get the best shots possible or that makes the best decisions for our team to win.
Yeah, all the analytics is for the guys with the iPads to worry about,
sure.
right? For sure. One thing I want to revisit, we talked a little bit about Jalen Wells, and obviously you guys' story is very similar in terms of, you know, you weren't playing D1 the whole time, went from D2 to D1 or D3 to D2 to D1 to the NBA.
Question for me or any advice you want? What was your hardest challenge besides your injury?
How much of that have you guys been able to talk about really since you, I guess, got to the draft and really since been drafted?
I mean, we haven't talked about it a lot. I think it's kind of like one of those things that's like unspoken that we already kind of know. I asked him about like his experience, and to be honest with you, I totally forgot what he said. I just know like he kept believing in himself, and that was his thing. Like, and he knew he had, I guess, more like to give, I guess is what you can say. Like a lot of people see it like D2 and D3, like, well, what kind of competition is that? Well, it's like when you go against us, and now like you're not thinking of us as D3, D2 competition. You're thinking of us as NBA players. You know what I mean? So I think it's just like the development piece, and you know, him along with me just never giving up. But to answer your question, we haven't really talked about it much. I think it's just one of those unspoken things. Like you have that mindset, and that's like deep down, like you understand where you're from, and then how you got to this level, and how you're going to maintain, you know, at this level and keep excelling.
You think it's the hunger level? Do you think that's a similar thing? I'm sure every NBA basketball player has a certain hunger level, but when you're coming from that level, is it different? Do you think than some other
for
guys?
sure. I mean, there's so many things here I still got to get used to. Like, there's so much more access to things that I thought weren't really possible to access, you know. But at the end of the day, I don't see it as like bells and whistles, like, wow, I'm finally able to do this. I see it as like, if I'm going to keep this stuff, I need to make sure I'm on top of my business and I know what I'm doing, and, you know, and keep excelling. Because like you said, the NBA, although it's a great thing to get to, it's even harder to stay, because you got 60 new guys coming in, and that's not even counting guys overseas, guys with two-way contracts. Like it's a cutthroat league, man. And if you don't do your job and you don't do what you have to do in order to stay, you're going to be out real quick.
23. Why?
Zero's taken by Jalen Wells.
I thought that might be your answer.
Zero's taken by Jalen Wells, and I wasn't going to like play him for it or pay him. He got here before me.
Sure.
2-3, I wore that in high school, and I thought it was just a good look. You know, I think a lot. I've gotten told by Coach Thorpe, like, said you kind of look like Michael Jordan on the court, and it's like, it's funny that he says that, but I think just having that number represents a lot. Like usually people who wear 23 are good basketball players, so that's why I think I'm a pretty good basketball player. So 23.
Fair enough. You gotta see it to believe it, right? I guess I can understand that. Just a couple more. Just got your big NBA contract now. What's gonna be your first NBA contract purchase?
Besides, like, my necessities of somewhere to live.
Besides
and
your
stuff.
necessities of somewhere to live, yeah.
Honestly, the first thing I want to do is give back. Like, obviously, like, there's stuff you want to buy, like shoes and all that stuff. Like, I'm a big shoe guy. Like, I'll probably buy a pair of shoes. But I want to give back. I want to pay off my mom's debt. My grandparents have a house in Fresno where I'm from, which is like the cornerstone. Like everybody has a garage opener and a key. Like you can just walk in, depending on who you are. But buy that house and make improvements upon it. Pay my tithes to the churches I grew up in, and then help out my family really any way I can. I think the fact of the matter is like they've sacrificed so much. Like my parents paid for me to go to D3. Like it's crazy. So it's like, and that's just one of the many sacrifices they've made. All the time, like you can't get time back. You can't get all that stuff back. So the least I can do is take away, I guess, some of the worries. And California is a lot more expensive state than Tennessee. So to be able to, now that I have the means and the want and desire to do that, I'm gonna get it done.
Sure. And then as you go through your rookie season, obviously summer league's coming up. It'll be time for the season here sooner than you think. What's one thing outside of just winning that you want to accomplish in your rookie year?
Honestly, just to get better at basketball. I think to show not only what I can do on the court, but also like how I can be that super impactful player. Like honestly, I think coach says it all the time. There's no equal opportunity in this game. Like there's no equal opportunity because guys are better at some stuff than others. But whatever weaknesses you have, your goal is to improve on them. Whatever strengths you have, your goal is to still improve on them, make them master those strengths. I think for me, it's just to do what I can, not only to win, but to make an impact. I want to play. Like I haven't played in a little bit, but I feel good, and I think one of the biggest things for me is just to find ways to get those minutes and find ways to gain that trust from not only coach but from the players on the court. Because if John, Jaron, and BC and all these guys can't trust you, there ain't no way I'm getting trust from Coach T. So you know what I mean? It's just making sure that I'm coming in, putting the work in every day, showing why I belong on the court, and then just improving in the process.
Cedric, a lot of folks depending on you, a lot of Grizzlies fans hoping you can elevate this team to a certain degree. We'll certainly be watching your progress, man. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that's it for today's show. Thanks for watching. Another thank you goes out to Cedric Coward. Can't wait to see what you and the boys can do when you hit the court, when the NBA returns in full action. Thanks to Rich Denson and Jared Robinson for being behind the scenes and making this thing work. I couldn't do it without them. You will all see Avery again later this week, but until then, I hope you have an enjoyable and great day. Hope you enjoyed today's takeover as well. Until next time, I'll see you later.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 24 Plus app everywhere you stream.